Hi everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and today I'm in Washington, D.C. at the Washington National Cathedral, and I'm joined by Charles. So if you want to tell us a little bit about what you do here at the Washington National Cathedral, and then this giant Lego project we've got next to us.
Sure. Yeah, this is really fun. This isn't necessarily what people expect to find in a church. But in my daily work, I work with all of the touring and sightseeing functions of the cathedral. And we got this idea of building a scale model of the cathedral from some of our sister cathedrals in the United Kingdom, especially Durham Cathedral in the north of England. They finished a model like this in 2016, and they found it was a great way to engage the public, to help the visiting public better understand the actual building, and it also helped with fundraising. This was an opportunity for visitors to come in to donate per brick and get to build themselves, and so we thought that would be a wonderful offering to have here. So thanks to a donor who covered all of our costs for design, for materials, and for some other aspects of our relationship with our design partner, we were able to start this project on March 1st, and visitors are paying $2 a brick to place the brick themselves. Now the entire model is broken down into modules. You can see some of those here, if it's stilts that are supporting the floor, if it's the pillars, if it's part of an arch. And we have workstations off to the side where we build those modules, and visitors get to build themselves, and then when the module is finished, we add it to the platform. In our case, our fundraising all goes to support earthquake repair at the cathedral. Believe it or not, here in Washington, D.C., we had a pretty major earthquake in 2011. We still have $19 million that we need to raise for earthquake repair. And $2 at a time, $2 per brick, we're slowly chipping away at that. We think by the end, this model may be upwards of 500,000 pieces. So we're hoping that this will help us raise about $1 million toward that earthquake repair.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what was the design process like for the cathedral, and who did you work with on that to kind of get the overall idea of what this would look like?
Sure. Our partners in this project are Bright Bricks, located in the United Kingdom. They designed similar models for Durham Cathedral as well as a handful of other English churches and cathedrals. So when we first signed an agreement with them, we sent them some architectural drawings, floor plans, some images of the cathedral. They also came over for a site visit and photographed every corner of the space. That gave them enough to get the process started. But even now, the design is actually ongoing. We started public construction on March 1st, but there's always the possibility each day I might get an email from our designer who's over in Europe working from home on this project. He'll say, you know, could you go photograph this part of the building? I don't quite have the right angle, or I can't wrap my head around what's going on here. So as more of the design comes together, Romao at Bright Bricks creates the instructions, uploads them to a Dropbox account, we download them, Bright Bricks ships more materials over to us, we sort them, and we keep on building.
So you can then maybe take us through some of the details you've got in here. I noticed right here in front of us we've got a classic spaceman. So why is he sitting there on the cathedral?
Yes, we have a couple things you might not expect to see here at the cathedral. One of our LEGO volunteers added that astronaut figure very recently as we were remembering the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission. Now, one of the aspects of the actual cathedral is a stained glass window that we call the space window. And what makes that stained glass window so special is it actually contains a piece of moon rock.
That's incredible.
I know. It is, again, not what you expect to find in a church. I love those moments when we can surprise people. The moon rock came back to Earth thanks to the Apollo 11 astronauts. So that's our little piece of that space story. So some of our volunteers brought the astronaut as a reminder of that space window. We've not gotten to that part of the building yet, but I'm very excited to see what that design will look like in Lego form. Darth Vader is one of our good friends here at the cathedral. And believe it or not, we have Darth Vader actually carved in Indiana limestone on the exterior of the building. He was added in the early 1980s. As part of a contest the cathedral held with National Geographic Kids magazine for kids from around the country to design 4 of the final carvings to go on the building. it sort of keeps with a centuries-old tradition in cathedrals that stone carving is not just scary or creepy, but it's whimsical and it's fun and surprising. So Darth Vader is hanging out right now just on the foundation, but give us enough time as the west towers of the cathedral rise, he'll be up, I suspect, about this high on the platform. The model in total, when it's finished, will rise to about 8 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
And we've been saying it'll be about the size of a minivan up here on this platform.
Will it be on permanent display eventually once it's finished? Is that the plan?
My response to that is it's not going anywhere very easily. When we started the project, we thought it would be about 400,000 pieces. And so we estimated about 1,350 pounds for the entire project, over 13 feet long, 8 feet wide, about 8 feet tall. This structure that our carpentry guys built, our facilities team built, is amazing. They were pretty much roof trusses underneath to support all of this weight. So none of the archways that you see around are large enough to transport this out. This is the 6th largest cathedral in the world. It's the 2nd largest in the United States. And with a ceiling that rises up 100 feet, it's hard to take it all in at once and to see how the structure works. But suddenly, over the course of several years, we will have a model where visitors can walk around. They can better understand the actual structure. So fundraising obviously is a part of this, but what really gets me excited is how the approachability of Lego bricks is helping people better understand this massive stone structure. The lighting, I will say admittedly, is still in draft form. We're playing around with some options here. This area is called Bethlehem Chapel. It is the oldest part of the cathedral. It was finished in 1912, and so it's sort of appropriate that this is where we started construction of our model. It's the only part of the cathedral's lower level that we're building, because eventually the entire model will cover the whole lower level.
Okay.
But the model and this platform are designed with a split, a crack right down, where the model itself will have a clean break, and eventually we'll be able to roll the model apart. And so when it's finished, you'll be able to walk across the model, crouch down, look into the finished chapel, look down the whole length of the interior. In terms of the lighting here, we've removed most of the ceiling vaulting. You can see the pillars in there, and then this is a vaulting segment. If you look up in the cathedral, you'll see one of the fundamental features of Gothic architecture is a vaulted ceiling with arches in many different dimensions. So we've removed those from the space so we can have easier access to help with the lighting.
For people who are watching this video and maybe want to help support the cathedral by buying bricks themselves and adding to it, maybe they're visiting Washington, D.C. and want to stop by,
Sure.
How long will this be going on for, and what's kind of the process there if they want to stop by?
Sure thing. Well, given our current rate of construction and the estimated size of the model when it's finished, I think this could easily last 4 years. So plenty of time to build. Although if very generous visitors start buying even more bricks, then it'll be faster. Visitors who come in person to build will just buy their bricks at the register in our main level gift shop, have a receipt that they bring back to our volunteers. But for those visitors at home, those fans of the cathedral who won't actually be able to visit, we've made it possible for them to support this project as well. We have a page on our website. It's cathedral.org/Lego. That will feature photos of the project, updates, time-lapse video, but also has an option for donating online. And we receive weekly reports. We know what donations have come in, and then our staff and volunteers use those donated bricks to further the project and to bring to light the donations of visitors from around the country and the world.
Oh, that's great. So even if you can't make it here in person, you can still get involved with the build.
Exactly. And it's, one of the really neat things about this project is it's being built entirely by donations, just as the actual cathedral was. Now, it took 83 years to build the real building.
Let's hope we don't quite reach that.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we won't hit the 83-year mark, but it's being built in the exact same way. Donations from around the country, people who care about this place. This is a working church, but it's also a site of gatherings of national significance. And we're seeing that people from around the country, even in Lego form, care about this place, want to support earthquake repair and bring this model to life. So that's really exciting to see. One of the things that's been really fun to see with Bethlehem Chapel here is it's a great snapshot of the creative use of Lego pieces, creative reuse of different pieces. So the actual cathedral has a lovely wrought iron railing around this end of the building. Well, to form that, our designers used wands from Harry Potter sets, and instead of snapping the wands off and throwing the trash part away in the center, they kept the entire structure together, and it forms a nice design. The stained glass windows here featured arms from Star Wars battle droids, which I'm learning have a lot of flexibility. And
they really do. There's so many uses for those pieces.
Exactly. And even in the windows, you see several different uses here. And then in the chapel itself, behind the altar is the tomb of our founding bishop. His name was Henry Yates Satterley. And because Lego does not create any religious imagery, there are no angels to put at his feet, as his actual tomb has, so we have battle droid heads, which sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud, but in fact, the sweep and shape of those heads is kind of similar to the sweep of the angel's wings that are watching over his feet. So this is a great way for us to be able to demonstrate to visitors the creative use, because in fact, with this project, not one piece is created specially for this. There are no custom pieces. Everything is factory stock, off-the-shelf pieces. And it's really fun to see the creativity of the designers, how it brings the building to life.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because then you get people, especially kids, can come in here and it's not super specialized pieces that you're using. They can see this and you're like, oh, well, you can actually use these pieces at home and do something similar with your own pieces, because it's just regular Lego pieces in the whole project.
Exactly, and really when you break these modules apart, I mean, even looking at the backside of the arch at the far end, you can see how it all comes to life. And at quick glance, you think, well, of course those are custom pieces, something unique, especially for the cathedral. But no, it's all what's available. And I'm stunned by the creativity that I've seen so far. What we have here is a section of flooring for the main level of the cathedral. You can see in the model itself, we've used this for the center aisle of the cathedral, and we have some additional pieces that will serve as part of the aisle for what are called the transepts, or the arms of the church. This has proven to be really one of my favorite parts of the design so far. You look at it from the side, you've got a pretty solid support structure that will nest down into the stilts that raise the floor up to its proper height. It looks fairly solid. You've got a slightly abstracted form of the actual marble that's in the cathedral floor itself. But my favorite part of this is that part of the design pops right out and is not even locked into place. It is sized perfectly so that these pieces nest right in. I think of this like fine wood inlay in a beautiful cabinet, and it gets the variation of colors and styles and shapes just perfectly nested in there. I've seen some of the early renderings for what other sections of the floor will look like. They're going to be just as much fun to build, to see the creativity bring these patterns to life.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to have every piece attached by a stud. You can do so many things with these pieces.
And I never would have thought about that. I'm sure this is old hat for some Lego pros, but our volunteers, we have about 40 volunteers who help this project run. Some are very experienced, some are complete newbies. Each day is the opportunity for us to be surprised and excited about something in the design. From these pillars that each had about 700 pieces, to how he brought those to life, to these flooring segments. Each of these is just over 300 pieces. Yeah, creativity at its best, so much fun.
So now I'm sitting down where the building actually happens for the cathedral here, so I've got my receipt for the pieces I bought.
All right, excellent. Okay, and where are you from?
Indiana.
Awesome. Okay, we keep a count brick by brick, so you can see that on our website. So let's see, you've got 10 pieces here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And so how does this fit into the overall build process?
10. So what we do, because sometimes it gets busy and there's a lot of us and a lot of steps, we'll sort of pre-stage the pieces. So we have all of these. This is what's going into this arch right here. So when you get a moment, you just kind of get it ready in case there's a lot of folks come in all at once. It just helps you stay organized. Only occasionally do we make a mistake. I have to take it all apart, put it back together. All right, so it looks like that we've finished here and here. And so you're starting at the last bit of step 67.
Okay. Put on the slope piece there.
All right. You seem skilled, so yeah. I'm not going to step-by-step you through
No,
it.
this is good. How does that process usually work? Do you have to help a lot of people? Or?
Sometimes you really point. You're like, you're going to put this right here. And some people, if they haven't ever done Lego, they actually need help kind of clicking it down. Because, you know, sometimes it'll sort of flip left or right.
Right, yeah.
So you have to kind of, you know.
The clutch power throws people off.
Exactly, exactly.
So you got the 1x2 here.
1x2 going to go up there. And now we're on step 71.
So did the Bright Bricks create the instructions for the whole build as well?
Yes, and it's just like a model you get at home, and it's got the step-by-step. It has a detailed part sheet, and the volunteers put it together. I'm trying to see if I can find that here.
There's paper in there somewhere with all the
Yeah,
parts.
I know. This particular arch has 113, 121, 128 steps. That's what it's going to look like. And then this is all the parts, and you can see the little check marks where people have put it all together. So there's a lot of, you know, hands that go into it. And it's really cool too, because there's, as you look at the model, it's like all these different people. Like we just started this morning, and we've got people from all over the United States and somebody from Indonesia that have helped us put that together.
Wow, yeah, so just one small section like that, and you've
Yeah.
got so many different people helping.
Exactly.
So I think that's step 73 there,
All
and then
right.
I've got one brick left.
73. Oh, excellent.
There we go.
Very nice.
Well, thank you for the help. So
All
all
right.
of this is going into that section right there.
That's right.
Awesome stuff.
Okay.
Well, keep up the good work. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to see more progress.
All right, thank you.